Hello. Does life look greener on the other side of the fence? And should you make the jump to get there? That's today's broadcast. Hello, if you've not met me before, my name is Alison Wem. I'm the founder of Your Soul Family. At Your Soul Family, we aim to teach techniques to help you to know yourself better so that you can feel in control of your life and therefore be more effective at work and live more harmoniously at home. So how did I come by these techniques? Well, in my 40s, I was unexpectedly widowed, and I suddenly found myself with 2 children, a demanding job, and no husband. And I really wasn't coping with life. It took me a number of years to rebuild my life, and during that period there was quite a lot of pain and struggling. And the techniques that we teach are some of those to help that helped me, and therefore I wrote them down because I thought, well, if they help me, perhaps they could help other people too. Anyway, today's broadcast. Just let me know if you can hear me and where you're listening to it from. I will be monitoring over the next few days, the broadcast. So don't worry if you're listening to it on replay. I will monitor it. Okay, so let's get into the topic. Does life look greener on the other side of the fence? Well, when I was asked to talk about this topic, I actually found it quite hard, and I had to think quite hard and see what it felt like to me. And I felt that the discussion you'd have around it would vary with the different types of people. So if you're a timid person, or maybe you procrastinate a lot, if just by looking at somebody else's life it motivates you to do something with your life, I think that's good. And I'd say go for it. Just start exploring it. However, if you have a tendency to just jump in at the next popular thing to do, I would say pause for a moment and evaluate it before you make the jump. And you should remember that we all have weaknesses and strengths. And our strengths, our virtues, things like maybe a work ethic, sensitivity, a playfulness, they are themselves inevitably are a weakness as well. But there's always a danger that if you work towards removing that weakness, you also lose the virtue. So these things, the changes you make in life, are not to be jumped into in an impetuous way. They should be done with thought and with wisdom. And I think everybody at some time in their life has looked at somebody else's life and thought, oh, that looks much better than mine. I'd like some of that. But what I would encourage you before you make a change in your life is to think about maybe the 3 things in evaluating it. How real is it, the thing that you're looking at? Are you prepared to make the changes that are necessary to attain it? So let's go through those a little bit, each of them. Well, I think when you look at somebody else's life, you have to ask yourself how real it is. Because everybody has a tendency to put up a front to the external world. And an example I would give is a student I had. You know, to the outside world, she and her husband looked highly successful and had a wonderful lifestyle and were forever jetting off to wonderful places. But the reality of it was she came to me because they were struggling to start a family. And they were going through a series of IVF to start a baby. And some of the treatments to get an IVF baby aren't easy. And some of the IVF trials they had failed and they had big disappointments. And every time they had a difficult treatment or every time they have a disappointment, they jetted off somewhere together to try and get over it, feeling that the beauty of somewhere would help them. So the reality of it in life is that most relationships are not perfect. They are in effect work in progress. And in all relationships there are moments that are painful. Oh dear, excuse me. And there are also points of conflict in a relationship where you're trying to work out what it is you want to be doing together and how your life moves forward. And there's often debates over how money should be spent. So, when you look at that lovely green field the other side of the fence, take a long, hard look at it and see how real it is. Moving to the next point, the change that's needed to get to the other side of the fence. You know, are you prepared to do it? Maybe it's about getting yourself out of an unfulfilling but very long relationship. Maybe it's a new job or new lifestyle. Or maybe it's relocating where you live. You have to ask yourself, all of those things are big changes to your life, and are you prepared to make them? They're not always easy, and they take a lot of effort and focus to achieve. And that leads me on to the last point, the impact on your loved ones. When you make a change in your life, sometimes that ripples out. And are you prepared to accept the ripple it has on your loved ones? So maybe there's a dream job for you, but it's in a totally different part of the country or in a different country altogether. And that would mean you'd have to uproot your family to take them with you. Are you prepared to do that? So you have to think about these things before you actually make the leap. And if you look at these three things, you know, how real is it the other side of the fence? Are you prepared to put in the effort to make the change? And do you accept the impact that it will have on your loved ones? If the answer to all of those things, I would say, are yes, I would say go for it. It's your life. And life is for enjoying. But I would say, if you're going to do this, you need to do it wholeheartedly. And if you're not prepared to do it wholeheartedly, maybe that yes isn't a yes, it's a maybe. And if it's a maybe, I'd say maybe this change isn't the right thing for you, and you should be prepared to wait. Maybe there's something better for you, but you just can't see it yet. And maybe the right thing would be to wait and to look for it. So it's not to be just give up on your dream, but to be a bit more proactive in looking for the exact right thing for you. And I would say that a lot of people that look for change often do it from boredom. So if you look at whatever is the young, exciting set in your country, maybe here in London it would be the up-and-comings in Notting Hill, maybe in America it's the up-and-comings in Manhattan. And if you speak to them, they look like they're having a wonderful lifestyle, full of fun and energy. But sometimes you often find they say, oh, I'm fed up with the city life. What I really want is to move to New Zealand. Wonderfully rural, wonderful scenery. So they too, the people that look as if they have everything, are looking at a greener field the other side of a fence, depending on whatever your fence is. So to summarise, I would say whatever action you take, do it from a point of wisdom, a point of knowledge and knowing what it will take to make that change and the impact it will have on the people around you. So do it from wisdom rather than from a whimsical desire for change. Okay, so that's me this week, Alison Wem from Your Soul Family, discussing the topic, does life look greener on the other side of the fence? Same time next week for another topic. If you've got one, send it in to me. In the meantime, follow my blog at yoursoulfamily.com and download a template, a soul map template, colour it in and start to feel your calmness. Goodbye for now. See you next week.